Welcome back, mofos. I'm so excited that everybody is back of me. See, I was in the zone when I had it first going.
Oh
Now
my
she's all
gosh.
nothing but giggles.
Okay.
Either which way, we're back. We're back. Thanks for coming back, guys.
He
What are we
stole
doing today,
it from
Dana?
me.
Juked it
'Cause you weren't
right out
going.
of your hands. Brandon, shush. Let her get there. My gosh. Do you even want us on this podcast, B? Do you just want to do it yourself? That's where we're at this point.
Hell no. It would
Okay.
die. This
Here is
podcast
this.
would die.
Welcome back, mofos. I'm happy to have you here, as we all are. And today we are talking about what it takes to build an action board rather than a vision board. But first, we have to talk about our real estate icks.
Bro, this is such a good topic to start off with because honestly, real estate gives me the ick a lot of different times.
It seems to be like the most thing that's in right now. Everybody's doing X. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
Okay, so who wants to go first? B, how about you go first? Because we always go first.
That's right. You assign that shit, girl.
What do you mean
Woo.
y'all always go first? You're crazy. My number one ick for real estate
You
is
better not take mine.
real estate agents who don't answer their phone.
No,
bitch!
that was
Mine.
my ick.
Hey,
You
that's
took
what
that
you
from
get.
me because
That's
I
what you get
said that
for
to
letting
you.
me go first. No, it's
Oh,
always been that way with me.
son of a
Fuck.
bitch.
Fuck a duck.
Now you got
The
to
one
come up
time I
with
let
something
him
else.
go.
Yeah, it's like
Jazzi.
you can literally be 75 days into a house being on the market, and you're not going to answer your phone. What the
Literally.
hell is wrong with you?
That is my biggest
know?
frustration to this day.
Granted, I know that everybody has, their time where they want to spend with family. Obviously, Jazzi, you have the biggest family out of all of us, so we know that there's times where you can't answer the phone. But
But guess what? Your girl
be
answers.
responsible. Yeah, Jazzi always answers the phone. She got 6 kids. She always answers the phone if she can. But
Thank
it's
you.
a matter of answering the phone because you have to be there to represent your clients.
Look, I could have won this house, as you guys both know, but none of our listeners or viewers know. But I sat on Thanksgiving and I wrote my very first offer, and it did not win because I could not get hold of the agent.
If you're not answering your phone, I don't care what system you have in play. I don't care what automatic text you have in play. I don't care if your realtor remarks on the MLS say, do not call me. I'm calling you. And if I'm calling you, I have a client who wants to give you a lot of money for what you have listed. So answer your dang phone. Ugh.
And even at that, if somebody's calling you, they could be showing your house and not be able to get in with the super box or the key code or whatever,
Which has
There's
happened
a
to me
number of things
before.
that could go wrong.
Do you remember that? That was your first showing.
That was my very first showing.
It makes me look bad, but it makes the listing look worse. And honestly, people who mismanage and poorly handle their listings, they just think, oh, I'll put it on the MLS and I'll just get an offer from somebody someday. Like, I cannot stand that. And as the real estate agents start to thin out because of the trickier market, I am saying good riddance. And hopefully it's the agents that don't answer their freaking phone.
I can feel her like,
Y'all,
I feel that
in
power.
my short listen, in my short tenure of like 9-10 months in the business, 9 months in the business, I have done 12 deals. I could have doubled that if people had freaking answered the phone.
Absolutely.
Brandon, that was a good one because it was mine, but whatever.
Then Jazzi, what's your ick? Since I took it.
Another real estate ick that I have are blazers. And blazers aren't just actual blazers. They're the people in real estate that like take it take it too much. It's like too serious. Our line of work is fairly serious, right? We handle large amounts of money and big purchases, but also at the same time, like it's not that serious, y'all. Like it's okay to wear sneakers, or whatever. You know what I mean? I think that the people who take it like so serious and never laugh or never post anything funny or, have to go on their big bad YouTube channels with their backlit whatever and like not be themselves, but be some kind of douchebag that they think is what everybody wants to listen to. I don't
Well,
know.
that's the thing.
I
So,
just
like, the industry
hate
is
that.
changing. The industry is changing, so you can't be like that anymore. Nobody's gonna wanna work with you.
That's a ick. What's your ick?
All right. So my ick, and I've just noticed this recently, when there is no direct phone number. So it still goes along with the calling and then not answering their phone, but it's like only an email and the phone number that's listed is just the office and it's Sunday. Like I need to contact
Oh,
you
yeah.
whenever I want.
That is the
Like
worst.
I definitely hate that. So, like, one of the leasing clients that I just had, they happened to pick a leasing company that was not open on the weekends. I don't know how this place is doing business, not being open on the weekends. And like, I was trying to call over and over and over, and like, no, I couldn't get a hold of nobody. And we were needing access to that house. It was just flat out so frustrating.
Oh,
what?
real estate ick. Real estate ick.
All
When
right,
What?
one more and then we're going on.
a male lender, I knew you would get it. I knew
Can I
you
finish
would.
it? Can I finish it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
When a male lender literally calls to meet up with you so much every week and then blows your phone up, you don't respond for weeks and months on end, and he still tries to contact you. I get those all the time, and they're random calls, and they're like, "Hi, I'm Miss So and So, and I would like to set up a meeting with you for this MLO
Dang,
officer." What?
going hard with it.
That's
That's not
what they
offensive at
sound
all.
like. It's
That's
not.
not
I'm not
offensive.
trying to make it like that. I'm just being on. That's literally. That's how every single one of them
Wow.
sounds when they call
Way to
me.
pull up Brandon. Okay.
Wow.
Y'all can roast me all you want. I don't give a flop fuck.
I must be wearing off on you.
Chingo.
There's no resting,
See, and that was
Adina.
like, so what y'all are describing there is one thing. So anybody that knows anything about our group is that our group is all women except for me. And I consider myself very lucky to be a part of this group. One, because I've always thought
I
that
consider you
women are
lucky
better at
too.
teaching,
Totes.
to be fair. But yeah, like women are always better at teaching people how to do things, I think. And it just comes natural because it's their motherly instincts. And like
And
every day I feel completely I don't even know the words for it. I am so
I'm
happy to be a part of this group.
speechless.
Oh my gosh, if you're obsessed with us, just tell us.
Why you so
I'm not
obsessed
obsessed with
with
you,
me, sweet
but
boy? I wanna know why I'm much you
oh Lord,
think.
never
Anywho,
opening my mouth again.
No,
no, finish your beautiful loving
no, we
sentence.
love it. No, that's good. I'm glad that you feel that way. And honestly, like our group in general, because there's probably a bunch of other girl groups out there that, probably rock it out or whatever, but ours is just truly the best.
Now, kind of going back on
Now,
that, even though we have to set things straight, now we're going to go talk about how we actually sit down and figure out the goals that we want to apply to our action boards.
First step is to basically just sit down and figure out what the hell you want. I
number
mean, if you don't know
one.
what you want, it's number one. If you don't know what you want, then how are you going to obtain that goal? You
Yeah.
know, to this day, I can still sit here, and so back on before Christmas, we had a team day, and we were all writing down our goals and our actions and everything that we wanted to do for the following year. And there was a point where I had to look over and I was like, what did you put? I was looking over to Jazzy, and I was like, what did you put here? I was like, I don't even have any kind of idea what I want to do here. And what category was it? Was it the like
It was
lifestyle? I think,
lifestyle.
Jazzy, you
Yeah.
remember? And I literally didn't know what I wanted to put there. And to this day, I mean, I've got a better idea now than, it's been a couple weeks, but um I have, like I said, I do have a better idea, but you have to be able to pinpoint where you want to be, um, you know, 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, even five, and you have to set those goals and set goals that you're uncomfortable about as well. I don't know if you guys have any goals that you've set that you're uncomfortable with. If you do, by all means, tell us.
I call them stretch goals because I know what I can reach, but I want to try to stretch and reach a little bit further. So like one of my transaction goals next year is to do 100 transactions um between different things. And it's more like it's more like I can see myself doing 50, but I want to stretch myself to 100, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense because you want to make yourself uncomfortable. Those goals that don't make you uncomfortable don't really excite you, so you're not trying nearly as hard as you would if you know, set something that's almost unobtainable.
Yeah,
You
for
have
sure.
to shoot for the stars.
No, you do.
Well, and like there's that acronym SMART when it comes to goal setting, and the A stands for attainable. So there is a level of, what you want to be able to attain, what's actually feasible for you to attain. That's why I like setting a goal and then setting a stretch goal. So if I reach 50 transactions and it's only September, then I'm going to stretch myself to hit that 100 by the end because I made the goal for 50, which is attainable, and then my stretch goal. So, just a little blurb about like taking things off in bite-sized pieces and, things like that.
Well, then that leads me to my next point then. So you have to figure out what your priorities are. And the number one saying that I can tell everybody to attest to is you don't eat an elephant all at once. You eat it one bite at a time. So you have to take everything that you want to accomplish and figure out the priorities of what you want to finish at a certain point. You can't just attack everything all at once because you're going to fail.
Yep.
But th- even though you may fail, failure is not necessarily a bad thing because you should always use it as a learning experience, right?
Yes, as you always say, literally take your frustration and your sadness and everything and turn it into that fire and drive yourself to go get it done.
Well, yeah, and like failure, starting again from failure isn't starting over. It's starting from what you learned the last time. So you're not starting with nothing if you fell. So even more so, you should be able to handle and knock out the next thing, And that even comes from somebody who had a very big fail this last like week and a half. So, um something that like really push me to the edge of like not understanding why I do all the things that I do and pour so much of myself into projects only for them to, for it to not work out. Um, but now I know the next time I'm in that situation, I've learned a ton and I don't feel like a failure. I feel like I learned. And now I can then therefore go out, do it again, and use what I've learned to my benefit, and the benefit of my clients. So um, I like what you said about failure.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of getting those priorities, getting them lined out, and once you have your goals and then your priorities, it'll lead you into your next thing. And it's like I said, it's you can't eat an elephant at one bite. I mean, all in one go. Is you have to eat several bites.
Yeah. So, number one for the 7 steps was to sit down with your goals and really write them out, articulate them, get them down on paper. Number two was to set and prioritize your goals for what is going to work and be attainable for the future and for that year. And then for number three, it is what is it again?
That one is, what actions can you take to get your goals done? So this is where you take all the goals that you've prioritized and you've written down in each of your sections that you want to obtain, and you actually like push them out with, how am I going to get there? And that way you're kind of holding yourself accountable in this moment, because you're like, okay, now I want this, but, and this is like why I like action boards rather than vision boards, because you're still going to get that vision pinpoint of it when you go to actually do your action board. But it takes that step to be like, okay, how am I actually going to get there? And I'm going to get there because I'm going to hold myself accountable, as you two are in my life.
Yes. And winners and losers, they have the same vision boards. Like they all have a fancy car or a new house or piles of money or whatever, expensive vacations. Like winners and losers have the same goals. So what makes the winner different than the loser? And we believe that stems from action. So instead of just pasting on a G Wagon on your board, you want to pace the G Wagon and then write down actual attainable steps for saving money for the G Wagon, researching the tax codes for the G Wagon, or whatever it is that you are trying to do. You want to write actual action steps to attaining those goals instead of just plastering your vision on a board and hanging it up, but putting underneath, these are the steps I will take to move myself forward and move my business forward.
Yeah. And you know what, Jazzy?
Yeah,
Actually,
how many action or vision boards have you guys built in your time?
I've only done like one, but to piggyback off of that, so right now I'm actually, or I just finished like in the last few days, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And during this time, I was in chapter 7, and it's when you were overcoming your obstacles of your life. And he actually said, and I highlighted it and I remembered it, that cynics criticize and winners analyze, and cynics will never win. So you can't like, and like another quote that says, unchecked doubt and fear creates a cynic. So if you have fear, and that's kind of weird though, because when I have fear, it's also, and I've heard this a lot when I was trying to get a hospitality, if you have fear of something, it's because you know you're not going to lose. You're going to win and you're going to do it.
So fear, when it boils down to it, fear is a good thing.
Yeah.
I like fear because it challenges me to be creative. I'm always like, my biggest thing is like, I'm scared I can't reach something. Then I have to be creative and figure out a different path solution or whatever it is that I'm good at. Um,
That's what I'm saying, because
yeah, no, I like
winners
that.
will always analyze. So when I have fear, it's because I'm analyzing what I'm going to do to get out of it. Yes, I'm scared shitless, but I will always find a way, and I have the support to support what I'm doing in the back end. So they can help me also analyze and keep it going. But anyway, so
That's what we're here for. We were hounding Dana for the longest time to quit her hospitality job, and she finally got it done, and here we are, and she's just loving it.
I'm happy. I'm
I
so
love
happy.
that he's like in the future. It's so fun.
I know. So the to what Brandon was saying, I've only actually I think done one in my entire life, aside
You've only
from
done
the one
one.
that I just did. So
Jazzy, how many have you done?
A lot. Probably
A
more
lot.
than 10.
So I
jeez.
personally,
But I was an
I want to say
expert
I've
for a
probably
long
done.
time.
I
Sorry.
think I probably did 4 or 5 total. If I can remember correctly, I've done at least 4 or 5. And how many of those have either of you actually completed and
God,
done
mine was
what you
so
wanted
long
on that
ago.
board?
A decent amount, like, of the one that we made one with Empire in the summer. I think you guys hadn't joined yet, and, um, I, like, looked back on it, and there was a lot of it too was, like, one of the ones is I wanted to have 10 agents under me by the end of the year. I have 7.5. I technically have 8. So it's like I pushed, and that was just from July to now. It wasn't even from my whole time.
Didn't really
So,
slay.
but that's what I mean. Like, I wrote 10, did I reach 10? No, but I got 7, which is 7 more than I would have had if I didn't set my number at 10. Next year, or for 2023, I have 50. So, yeah, I don't know
You can do
where I
it.
was going with that.
Well, I think
You're
that's
going.
one of the things that's wrong with our society is we're always looking at the things that we didn't accomplish versus the things that we did accomplish. So when we set a goal, just like with your, if you wanted to have 10 agents, you only got 7, yes, but you got 7. You don't need to worry about the 3 you didn't get. You'll get
Because
them
you're going to get them
eventually.
next year.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's where I'm going at with this. Is like as a society, we're always looking at the things that we don't fully complete. You know, if even if it's still good to complete all your goals, but you still have to look back and look at the things that you did complete and be grateful for that.
Well, and to celebrate every win. The biggest thing about habit forming, if you haven't watched our last episode, go back and watch our last episode. It's all about habits and how to form healthy habits, things like that. But in our habit episode, we talked about the book Atomic Habits, and they talk a lot about rewarding yourself for completing your habits and celebrating your wins because it trains your brain to really stay in that place of like, oh, you did it. You did something good. Here's a positive reward. And then therefore you have you're training your brain to celebrate every win and celebrate every part. Because even though I didn't get 10 agents, I got 7. And of those 7, I cheered for each one. And I was so happy for each one. And so it's one of those things where we have to get better at like cheering ourselves on and like really taking the time to celebrate a win because it's a big deal when we get things done.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
for
because unless
sure.
you're with a group like what we have, I'm sure if you're not with a group like what we have, then you're all by yourself and you're probably down on yourself. We constantly, someone will have a bad day between the 3 of us, and I'll constantly check up on the girls and just say, "Hey, how's your day going?" and make sure they're all right.
We don't deserve a man like Brandon in our life. Gosh, you are so good to us, B. I
He
honestly, I don't
is.
know what we would do without you. Like, where have I been? I mean, obviously, I'm sounding like I'm talking like you're my freaking husband, but my obviously my husband
He's
is
our
my
work
husband. I know he
husband.
really is.
And we
Can
share
keeps us going.
custody.
No, we do. And like, I mean, even our actual true like husbands, they literally say like, "Oh my god, he keeps you guys so grounded." Like,
Yeah.
we would be nowhere without
Yeah.
this person right here, and I'm not gonna lie on that. But anyway, back to
We're on
it. So, okay.
step number
So,
4.
number 4. Now, okay, so you've got your goals, you sat down, you thought about them, and then you wrote down your actions of how you're actually going to hold yourself accountable to get these done. Now's the fun part. You get to put it all together and make it come to life visually. So,
Yay. That involves a lot of Dollar Tree and stickers and glue and sparkly things, magazines, or just print off pictures, put them on a document on Google and print it off and cut them out. Whatever it is that you do it, but make an actual display. Put this together. Put the board together and display it loud and proud and invite your partner, your spouse, your friends, or people in your real estate group. Like, invite people in to that display. You know what I mean? It
why
doesn't
would
have
you,
to be a secret.
but wait, why would you want to share these with your people that surround you? I mean, I wouldn't want my people stealing my ideas.
Well,
I'm
there's a
sure
couple
Jazzi
of
knows the answer to
things.
this.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is I get inspired by my friends and those that put their stuff out there. I get inspired. Even if we don't want the same goal, like Brandon wants some kind of, I don't know, vintage Porsche or something, and I want a Mercedes, like, but I might not have thought, oh, I should put up my car on there or, whatever. You know what I mean? So one, it can inspire somebody. Two, it's also a great way of teaching. It's a great tool to teach others around you to cast a vision for yourself and to set up actions. And three, it invites accountability. If I know what's going on your board and you're having a lazy week, I don't mean day. Everybody gets a lazy day every now and then. But if you're like at a point where you're like, yeah, I just don't really feel, this, that, or the other, then I'm going to be like, well, does that make you move closer to those action board goals that I saw? Or does that bring you farther away? Because I want my friends and the people in my support group, my partner, and all of the things. I want everybody like that around me to be moving towards their own goals as well, and for them to hold me accountable to mine as well. But it's not my job to tell you to get off your ass and do work so that you can buy a G-Wagon. But it is a benefit of being in a group of people that have like-minded career goals and action boards and things like that. It's a benefit, and we should utilize each other as that kind of benefit. So
That and having that actual board will also help with internal accountability. Because you don't if you're seeing that board every day, you're gonna be like, oh man, I really want this vehicle or I really want this house. But unless you can see that every day, you're not gonna think about it. It's basically out of sight, out of mind. So creating these boards will help you in the long run, whether you think they
yeah,
will or not. It
it's
will.
like my
It's
little
a
houses.
psychology thing.
It's like my
I
little
love your little houses.
I make these little houses on index cards and I put them literally by my bed. So the first thing I roll out of bed and I see are these little houses. I color them in with a Sharpie every time I get a contract, or I close a deal. And just by having it right there in the morning, I literally look at it every day and I'm just like, am I moving towards closing another house? Or am I moving towards being comfortable and lazy? So yeah, putting it by in a visual place. If that for you is your office, put it in your office. If that's the bathroom, put it in your bathroom. But nobody cares. Wherever you see yourself the most, or spend a lot of time. If you have a vanity and you do your makeup or whatever, put it above that. So put it where you can see it and wear it loud and wear it proud. Was that number
Damn,
6 or
Jazzy.
5?
That was 5 and 6. Because you
Oh,
had the
snap.
accountability and the internal accountability, and then you had
You're
display it where
welcome,
you always have
listener.
to look at it and see it. Yeah. All right, Brandon, why don't you close us out with the 7 step? Because I feel like we've stolen this show from you a little bit today.
Oh.
Sorry, not sorry, but we love
He's
you.
okay sharing the
I did no
spotlight.
such thing. Well, let me ask you this then. So, what what's the difference between a vision board and an action board?
Ooh. So to me, it's similar because you have the pictures on it. But with vision boards, it's just pictures. With action boards, you have your actions of how you're going to obtain that car, that house, these many contracts, this much in your revenue, this much in your bank account, or the lifestyle that you're going to live, where you can have that freedom financially and you could do whatever the hell you want because you're your own business owner. So you're always going to have those little snippets and you're always going to be able to go back under the picture and see, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do today? And hold yourself accountable.
Yeah. No,
Anybody have to add to that?
that was really good because I do think that people forget goals are the same. again, amongst winners and losers. Everybody wants the same things. Let's just be real. Everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants financial security. Everybody wants to live somewhere nice and drive something nice. So we all have the same basic structure of our goals. Obviously, the ins and outs and the intricacies are a little bit different. But what is going to set us apart from somebody who just puts their goals on a piece of paper and a note in their phone or whatever it is going to be the action steps that it's going to be the action steps. It's Wade and it's 3:45.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap up this episode anyway, so it's perfect.
So yeah, that's what the difference is for sure.
Let's give them 3 categories. Can we give them 3 categories of what they should, like 3 different ones?
Show your paper.
Okay. Sorry, this is total kitchen chicken scratch. So you have 2 different ones. You have this one here, which is going to be your goals. So that's going to be your first page that you write out. And some of the categories are health, finances. You have your family, relationships, career, knowledge, lifestyle, and accomplishments. And then your second paper is your actual action steps of how you're going to get there. And you're going to hold yourself accountable and you're going to obtain everything you want to achieve. You have to manifest that shit. The more you work hard on it, the better it is. But let's give them 3 different ones. So let's do career, let's do finances, and then what's another one that we want to do?
Let's do family or relationships. Something
How about
personal.
let's tie those in together? We'll do so for the third one it'll be family and relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, because family is difficult for, some that don't have it.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to DM us privately, we are more than welcome to. If you have questions on what might be good or what might not be, just make sure to comment below. DM us on all of our social media platforms, our Facebook for our Facebook community. Do what you need to do to reach out, and we'll reach out back to you, and we'll make sure that you get everything done that you want to for this year.
Yeah, if you are in our Facebook community, be sure to light us up with your goals in there because we definitely want to see what everybody's doing and how we can help and how we can just cheer you guys on. Oop, oop.
That's what we're here for. We're all here to help you go.
Exactly. And then on that note, I think we've done a great episode today. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of my family behind me in Empire achieve everything that they wanted to. And everybody else, our viewers, our listeners, everybody. I'm really excited to see what takes on this role. So until next time, next week, next Thursday, see you later, mofos. Have a great one.
Bye.
Woo-hoo.